The Epiphany of Buster Kelly, Season 1, Episode 4. I don't know exactly how Buster got down off of the ridge and into the town. He didn't tell me that part. But he did give me in writing where he went for lunch. And I'll do my best to read that for you. He seemed to be a little in the dark at times about time and space because the way he put it, the past was always coming at you one way or the other, from the inside or the outside, if you were going to let yourself see it that way. And space was sort of the same way, that he didn't feel like he really exactly ever found himself in one place or another, something like that. He did enjoy luncheon in one way or the other, wherever he was. And he named this piece with some difficulty, I think. It had several names to it, and I'll go through that. One was the bough of the mystical tree, and the 45-foot canary yellow boa. The other was Via Maestra, if memory serves. In Buster's words now, I had awakened in the dream and seen myself climbing a mountain trail. Pasta, asparagus, and cheese sauce. I do not remember the Italian names. A salad and a Coke in a classic bottle. Wrought iron chairs, mostly two to a table, squared small room, windowed storefront behind me. Tables outside, too, on the narrow walkway next to the La Roque post office on North State Street. The wall on my left had European something on it. The square of the room was completed by glass deli counters displaying dishes of pasta, fancy sandwiches made of a flat bread with lettucey green-purple stuff sticking out, and a couple of cases of sherbets and gelatos. Place of nice folks of middle-class ilk conversation. Lunch with a little European pizzazz. A hooded figure descended the trail past me with a pine bough in hand, possibly from a large evergreen tree growing at the trail side. A woman walked in 70 or 80 or so, broad-based, flat-footed, shuffling aplomb, formless, neat, suburban old gal clothes with a golden or brass equal-sided triangle hanging by its apex from a thin golden chain around her neck. She had a full, long, gray hair to her shoulders, like Rita Hayworth might have worn if she were an 80-year-old retired school teacher from 80-year-old retired school teacher with Alzheimer's, living with her daughter in Santa Barbara. Her face was wrinkled, partly like mine with my beard, when my beard is shaved off. Behind her glasses, her eyes were lively at times. Nice here, a bit European, I said. Oh, European, she said. I could not tell if she agreed or not. I saw my figure pass behind the tree on the pathway. As my figure emerged from behind the tree, it looked up at me. Its face was bathed in bright light that was coming from within me. Within my darkness there, above and away where I was viewing the scene, I had been reading Truman Capote's Music for Chameleons. I put the book down to go to the counter to ask for a peach sorbet or an espresso. When I turned around, the woman was standing at my table examining my book. I wondered if it's mine, she said. I usually sit there, and I wondered if I left it there. Have you read it? I asked. I've read it, but I've forgotten it, she said. I've forgotten it. I read it. He was a powerful writer, I said. He was so good. I've just started reading him. I've read it, but I've forgotten it. I thought it was mine, she said. She tensed and moved her head and shoulders in quick, flustered movements. I felt longing to be in my body on the trail, seeing into the light that was coming from me, that I might know it. At that moment, my consciousness passed into my body on the trail, and I could see into the light only. In the light, there were the faces of 4 Oriental men looking at me without expression. My name is Buster, I said. My name is Jasmith, she said. Jasmith, I asked. Yes, she said. I named myself. Their faces were alive and dispassionately aware of me. I had awakened out of the dream and was disappointed that I had not been given the bough of the tree. I noticed a book in front of her and asked what she was reading. She said, "Oh, I forget," and handed it to me. It was a cross-cultural collection of the mystical tree, the tree myth. I asked if the mystical tree was important to her in her life. Yes, she said, but looked uncertain. I said, "You enjoy reading in the moment?" Yes, she said. The men of enlightenment had seemed a cold, foreign bunch, but I embraced the experience and cherished the dream. The Bill Moyer series on myth was great, I said. She nodded. I tried to think of Joseph Campbell's name, but could not. I did remember a vivid technicolored dream about a tree. Remembering the dream took only a moment. I did not relate it to the woman. Are you long time Santa Barbara? Have you lived here long? I asked. I've lived here a long time, she said. What did you do for a living? I asked. She said, and shook her head with an irritated smile. What did I do? She asked herself. I taught students, she said. You were a teacher, I said. I was a teacher, she said. I taught students. I was a good teacher. They liked me, she said with a smile. What did you teach? I asked. I taught students, she said. When you taught, what did you say? What did you talk about? I asked. You're doing pretty good, she said, smiling at me. Did you teach English? I asked. English, I taught English, she said. Did you write? I asked. I wrote, she said. I wrote for myself. I wrote what I taught. I taught at Santa Barbara for years. Santa Barbara High School? I asked. No, she said. The other one. San Marcos, I asked. San Marcos, she said. I live with my daughter. I have Alzheimer's, I said. Alzheimer's, I forget it now. It's bad sometimes. It's better. There have been some new things about it this week in the news, I said. Are you seeing someone for your care? Your daughter takes you to the doctor? Yes, she said. Let me write that down. She moved about a bit as though looking for something to write with, and said, Oh, I'll remember. You're okay out like this? You can find your own way? You know where you are? Yes, I live just here, she waved, backhanded. I guess I'll go out. I guess I'm going to go now. Goodbye. Goodbye, Jasmine, I said, and she got up and left with her book, and I returned to mine. Soon the music lovers assemble, chameleon, scarlet, green, lavender, an audience that lined out on the floor of the terracotta terrace resembles a written arrangement of musical notes, a Mozartian mosaic. Truman Capote, music for chameleons. To be continued.